Hey, what's up guys, Tech9 here, and I'm back with another video. And we all know the famous rivalry between Samsung and Apple, but they also have some things in common. So here are my top 3 things that Apple and Samsung have in common. Check it out. Alright, so the 3 things that I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be focusing on their mobile devices, the iPhone lineup and the Galaxy S lineup. So without further ado, number 3 is the names. And some people have noticed this, some didn't. But if you look at the iPhone 6s and the Samsung Galaxy S6, check out these names. Flip the number and the letter around, what do you get? Exactly. And I thought this was a fun one, so I had to include it in the video. And yeah, so if you flip it, you get an iPhone S6, and if you flip the Samsung, you get a Samsung Galaxy 6s. And I'm not sure if we're gonna get that ever again, so I had to include it in this video. And yeah, that's my number 3. And number 2 is, not a lot of people know this, but a lot of the flagship smartphones these days use a Sony sensor, and cameras have become so huge in phones that it's probably, for me personally, it's the number 1 thing I look for when buying a smartphone. And so the Samsung Galaxy S6 has a Sony sensor, so does the iPhone 6s, and they both have the top 2 cameras of any phone right now. And yeah, that's my number 2. The camera and the sensors of the camera. Now, number 1 is probably the most common one out there, and I guess you probably know it, which is design decisions. So they both have taken some inspiration from each other in terms of design. So you might argue that Samsung copies more from Apple, Apple copies more from Samsung. Whatever the argument is, they both took some inspiration from designs. Let's take a look at it from the Samsung perspective. If you look at the metal frame on the Galaxy S6, you will notice that it looks similar, if not the same, to the iPhone 6s and the iPhone 6, which is not a bad thing. I mean, it's cool that they did it, and I don't really have a problem with it. If you look at it from Apple's perspective, check out their phones. They're now 4.7 and 5.5 inches. And guess who started all of that? Samsung. So Samsung started the big trend of big smartphones, the 4.7 and the 5.5 inch smartphones. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like them in the start, but now they're really popular and they're nearly in every smartphone, even from low end to mid range to even the flagship. So Apple took that in consideration and decided to do a 4.7 and a 5.5 inch smartphone, which relates back to what Samsung started, which is getting inspiration from each other is by no means a bad thing, but try to be original in the process. That's what I'm saying. And Samsung have their original work and Apple have their original work. That's my number 1 thing that these 2 companies have in common. I have another top 3 list of what they do have in common and other things than mobile devices. So if this video gets a 10 thumbs up, I will make a part 2. If it doesn't, I'll still make a part 2. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to Tech Titan, and I will catch you guys in the next one.